So the family of Carmelo Anthony, a 17-year-old teen who was charged with first-degree murder for fatally stabbing Austin Metcalf, also 17, has finally decided to make a public statement. So just to give you a rundown of the situation, Anthony is claiming self-defense after Austin tried pushing him out of a tent he did not belong. So let's check out the family's reactions because this is gonna get spicy.
Good afternoon. My name is Kayla Hayes. I am the mother of Karmelo Anthony. 3 years ago, my family moved to North Texas searching for a better life. Like so many other families, we wanted to give our children the future we did not have. My husband works hard every single day to provide for us, to make sure we're in the best financial position possible. As a stay-at-home mom.
What the fuck? So you're telling me you're a stay-at-home mom and you didn't have the time to teach your son that it's wrong to stab people in the heart? Like, lady, what the actual fuck is going on with you? This was your only job, to take accountability for your son's actions, and you allowed him to go down the worst path possible. Like, really. And just to make it clear, she's going to be devastated for what happened to her son. That's just reality. And I hope she's devastated too for what happened to Austin, but she doesn't really show that right here, right? She's trying to play the victim card. Like, take accountability for the life your son took. There's nothing else that needs to be said right now besides that. And 100%, a lot of mothers, and I respect that a lot of mothers will defend their child to the grave. But at the same time, that is not what he needs. This kind of I'll defend you no matter what mentality, just because you're my son, is the exact reason why Anthony decided to stab Austin in the first place. Now, that's not to say it's entirely her fault, but she is definitely part of the problem. When you defend this type of behavior, when you play the victim instead of owning up to your mistakes, by effect you are promoting the same type of behavior that got your son stabbing people in the first place.
I made it my life's mission to ensure our children are loved, nurtured, and supported every step of the way. In wake of this tragic incident, our family has been under attack.
Oh shit, they're gonna attack you. If you just said, hey, I don't know what my son was thinking, I didn't raise him up to be like a little shit like this, I don't know where he got the idea from that it was okay to stab someone in the heart over a bunch of bullshit, then people wouldn't have attacked you. Instead, you decide to fucking double down, go make a GoFundMe or Give Send Go for someone who by all intents and purposes admitted to stabbing someone in the chest. Like, really? How can you be this delusional? To think that anything but harassment was coming your way. You are taking a bad situation that your very own son is in, that you yourself had a hand in, and let's just be clear, it's not entirely your fault. That, like, stuff like this doesn't happen, stuff like this doesn't happen out of nowhere. He 100% had a past history of violence. Let's take a look.
One girl that we spoke with knew Anthony pretty well, that she says, and told us this.
I'm in shock because it's like, I wouldn't expect that from him. I only know him fighting and stuff, like, but to take someone's life is just like a different level.
So this kid literally told the school he's a violent person. He's known to fight. You don't get known to fight unless you do it more than one time. Like, really. He has a reputation. He has a very bad reputation, and the school thought it would be good not to expel him. Like, on the first instance of violence, he should have been gone. Out of here. If they did that, this would have never happened. They are as much as fault, if not the biggest fault in this case. His parents, his friends who promoted this type of behavior, they're also at fault. This isn't some kind of rocket science logic here. It's plain and simple. What happened is the system, his friends, his parents, every single person around this guy knew of his violent behavior, and they said, it's okay. Keep doing what you're doing. It's fine. Like, if the only punishment for getting into a fight is a suspension, that's not a punishment. That's a vacation.
Whatever you think what happened between Karmelo and the Metcalf boys, my 3 younger children, my husband, and I didn't do anything to deserve to be threatened, harassed, and lied about. The lies and false accusations that have been said about us especially over the past week, has been overwhelming. The lies and their amplification put my family in danger, as well as everyone in our community, everyone involved in the investigation, from the police, the attorneys, and the court staff. Our address and my husband's previous employer.
Look, I don't think that anybody's arguing that doxing is a good thing. It's obviously bad. And the people who are doxing you absolutely need to take accountability for what they're doing. There's no question about that. But there is also no question that you yourself put yourself in this situation. That is an undeniable fact. If you go around and defend someone who stabbed another person and killed them, you are on the wrong side of the argument. I'm sorry. He literally admitted to it in the police report. I'm sorry, but to do what you did and act like you are the victim here is just wrong. To capitalize on the situation, profit off of it, and then act like the victim when people are calling you out on it, the sheer double standard here is crazy. Don't expect any sympathy when you try and raise money for a killer. And if you didn't want the attention, if you didn't want all the harassment, maybe don't set up a website that paints him as a hero who does this. Like really, if he really was sane of mind, a 4.0 student, a football team captain, a leader, a protector, a role model, Karmelo Anthony is the kind of young man every parent hopes to raise. He speaks with respect, he takes care of his younger siblings and little cousins, he works hard, stays out of trouble, and carries himself with dignity. How are you going to write something like this? That is obviously a lie given the facts of the police report. He's going to be a role model for sure, but not for the right reasons. He's going to be a role model for all the aspiring criminals out there. Now, he's the kind of young man every parent hopes to raise. Really. So someone who stabs someone and drags their family's name in the ground is someone every parent hopes to raise. I've been going through my entire life all wrong then. And lastly, he works hard and stays out of trouble. Man, no shit you're gonna get harassed over shit like this. It would be a wonder if they didn't get harassed, like really. Oh, and let's not forget this fucking t-shirt. Justice for Karmelo Anthony for $25. You can support this man. Holy shit.
His address has been put on all social media platforms. My husband had to take a leave of absence because he's afraid what may happen to our family. His mental health is deteriorating day by day. We have endured death threats. My 13-year-old daughter is afraid to sleep in her own bed.
Oh my god. Yeah, because your daughter is sleeping next to someone who has blood on his hands. Hell yeah, she's gonna be afraid. I would be too.
Because she's fearful
Oh my god.
of what may happen to her. And let me be clear, the claims that were used about the public donation to buy a home or anything else are completely false. We have not received a single dime from the Give, Send, Go fundraiser.
So let me get this straight. You can afford to move in to what seems like it's a pretty big house. Like, let's get real. A gated community. And I think it's a pretty fair assumption that Anthony's family is not poor if they live in a gated community. So you set up a GoFundMe. When you've got the money to pay for it yourselves, every single person can see that this is a money grab. They're milking this kid for all his got. This is like their fucking golden goose. Like really, so it's clear that this kid comes from a well-off family, yet he still chose to throw away his life. 100% this kid was not mentally stable. He should have never been allowed to stay in the school. He should have been taken away and put in a safe place. He should have been expelled. He is a danger to himself, he's a danger to everyone around him, and he's a danger to his family. When someone decides the best course of action is to stab someone in the heart when there is a disagreement, when hands are put on you, you are mentally unstable. You should not be allowed into society. Imagine this. Let's say you're 6'5", relatively buff, walking home on a rainy day with an umbrella. So let's say you're walking home, but then you suddenly a stranger comes under your umbrella. He's 5 flat. He's a midget in your eyes. And he says nothing. He's literally walking shoulder to shoulder with you. He says nothing. And you ask, mate, what the fuck is your problem? You're kind of, invading my personal space. Can you, fuck off? And he says, touch me and see what happens. And so you push him out and he stabs you. Is that self-defense? Let's take it a step further. What if you were in your car? Somebody jumped in your car and did the same exact thing. When you tried to remove him, he stabs you. Is that self-defense? If you're making excuses for this type of behavior, you're absolutely retarded. What's stopping someone from going into your car, your home, your parents' home, and doing the exact same thing Karmelo did? But then you didn't lock your door. It doesn't matter. You shouldn't be there in the first place. If someone fears for their life over a situation that they themselves got themselves into, that's a tell. That's a tell that the person shouldn't be on the streets with other people. They are a danger to themselves because in their mentally deranged head, the world is out to get them. And yeah, the world is a scary place. Wear a fucking helmet. He should have never been where he was. He knew what he was doing, and to think like this is okay, that just means one thing. You are mentally unstable. You are not sane. Karmelo should have been put in a safe place and never should have been at the track meet. Allowed to go to school, allowed in society at all. It don't matter if you're white. It don't matter if you're black. It don't matter if you're brown. If you're insane, you get to live in a mental institution. That is your right. And the fact that his parents are defending this behavior means they should be held accountable too. By all means, if we lived in the medieval ages, go right ahead. That's the norm. But we don't. It's 2025. We live in reality. Don't be going thinking you're Dexter or Ghostface. That is fantasy. This is reality.
And the co-founder has stated that clearly. In the reality, we were just notified yesterday that we could begin to withdraw funds. And it still takes several days to receive those funds.
It doesn't matter if you are perceived to be a money-grabbing opportunist who values their own financial well-being over their son's mental facilities and situation, people will fucking attack you. It's that simple. Once you are perceived to be something, it is infinitely harder to correct that perception.
Once a request is made. I don't know why we are being targeted and discriminated against before a fair trial. Our son deserves the same rights under the law that everyone is afforded to.
Uh-oh. So Kyle Rittenhouse shot rioters to save his life. 2 million bond. Never reduced. He spent 86 days in pre-trial detention. Karmelo Anthony brought a knife to a track meet, got insulted, killed someone, and his bond was reduced to $200,000. 12 days in pre-trial. Is that the same rights that you're talking about? 100%. Nobody is denying that. So why was his bond reduced by 75%? Like, what are we talking about here? It's obvious she's blind to the facts because she's so emotional right now. Anybody would be. It's fine. It's understandable. But at the same time, don't expect people to put up with this bullshit. Yeah, the situation is tough. No parent should ever have to go through this. But you are. And you're handling it in the absolute worst way possible. The only thing you needed to do was condone his actions, apologize to the family of Austin, and that's it. Instead, you got swept away in a fucking race war that you had nothing to do with, and you used that race war to your advantage. And by all means, go for it. I don't really care. It's your right to do so. You can raise money for whatever you want, but at the same time, don't be surprised when people don't agree with you, and worse, give you shit for it.
He's been raised in a 2-parent home with structure, stability, love, and we put God first in everything that we do.
Oh my God. So God was the reason he stabbed Austin. It makes sense now. I thought if you were a godly fellow, you chose forgiveness and compassion over violence. I didn't know God taught kids to stab people when they say get out of my seat. I guess it's God's fault. Oh my God, why didn't I think of this? Get the fuck out of here.
We believe in the Constitution. We believe in the laws of this state. But those laws must apply to all of us, not just some of us.
True. Absolutely true. Send him back to jail. In what world does reducing the bond of a killer and letting him out of jail a good idea? And let's assume we don't know if he did it for self-defense or if he did it intentionally. Let's assume that. You're going to let a potential killer on the loose for maybe one last hurrah before he gets put away forever or for a long time? Did they give his knife back as well? I defended this family in my previous video, thinking that they were probably, they probably weren't the reason why he's like this in the first place. At least not one of the major reasons. But now I just don't know. It looks to me these people have almost as equal a reason why Anthony Karmelo is like this in the first place as the school.
To be clear, when I speak publicly about specific details of what happened under the tent on that rainy and awful day, there's an active investigation that everyone involved wants to be full and fair. We believe in legal process, and that is where the truth will come out. To the family who experienced the loss, my heart truly goes out to you. To those who have supported my family, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We ask for your continued support, patience, and prayers as we navigate this difficult process. Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to give her props. She did somewhat feel compassion for the other family, that's true, I'll give her that. But that's not enough. You did too much already. If you wanted the harassment to come to an end, to protect your own family, all you had to do was apologize. Show at least somewhat remorse. That's it. Don't make excuses. People hate excuses. They can sniff fake people from a mile away. Overall, this is a massive L for the fight against racism, and the only people who won right now are the actual racists. Because now they get to radicalize every single person who comes across this situation. Now they have more friends on their side. They've made both Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf mascots for their fucking agendas. And this family is just caught in the middle. This isn't what's supposed to happen. I really doubt that Anthony himself was a racist. And that whether Austin was white or if Austin was black or brown, he would have still stabbed him in the chest because it wasn't about race. To Anthony, the only people who are making it about race is the people who are looking from the outside. And it looks like it's extremely hard to look at it objectively when there's so much emotional vitriol everywhere. Basically, the reality of it is, if the school ejected Karmelo at the first instance of violence, he would have never been there at the track meet in the first place. I would say the school is more to blame than the parents, more to blame than the friends who encourage this behavior, more to blame. I mean, at his age, he's spending more time with his friends and at school than he is at home. Guaranteed. He's spending more time online than with his parents. Guaranteed. And so 100%, if you look at this guy's feed, this guy's phone, this guy's social media feed, you'll probably see signs of this kind of culture he's consuming, which is a culture that promotes power as a social currency. There's only so much you can do as a parent, and I understand that. That's completely understandable. But at the same time, it doesn't help when you don't hold your son accountable for his actions. When the school system doesn't hold their students accountable to their actions. So you got the culture telling you what is the social currency of 2025. And so you've got a culture that tells people how to act. And that may be wrong or that may be right. At the same time, you have a system that allows and perpetuates this behavior. And you have parents that allow and perpetuate this behavior as well as his friends. And that combined produced Karmelo Anthony. Let me know what you guys think below and give me a sub if you like the content. See you in the next one.